everyone. Welcome back to my reading of my vampire book. We are on to chapter 12, which is called Funeral and a Meeting. All the vampires are standing in the hall, way behind the double wide door, looking out to the pool area. Wicket was in the front, standing next to Devon and the wall. Outside, the humans were standing by the door, but making sure not to get in the way of the vampires' view. Nobody was downstairs, for the club was closed for the morning. Everybody was staring at Caramel, who was laying on a small pile of wood. She was wearing her favorite black and red corset with her short black skirt. Wicket stood there staring at Caramel, waiting for the sun to rise. After a short while, he could see the sunlight on the edge of the building. It's a good thing the sun rises from the east and his door faces the west. He looked down at Devon. She had a slight tear in her eye. He moved his hand towards her and brought her closer to him. She put her arms around him and then hugged him as they looked out. The sunlight was slowly moving across the roof. Time seemed to stand still on the roof as everybody watched the sunlight slowly moving closer to Caramel. When the sunlight finally hit Caramel, her body burst into fire, igniting the wood. Ashes slowly went into the air and the wood burned quickly. After a while, the wood was mostly burnt and the crowd started to leave. Wicket and Devon stood holding each other and watched as the last of the wood burned and the ash flew into the air. Clouds started rolling in and Wicket smiled. He looked down at Devon as she looked up at him. He slowly bent down and kissed her. I have to go to the meeting now. Okay, she said as she got her on her tippy toes and kissed him once more. I'll be in our room till I go to work, I guess. I'll see you later, Wicket said as he let go of her hand and started walking towards the stairs. He quickly walked down the stairs to the meeting room. He opened the door and walked in. Everybody was already in the room talking, but then he got quiet when Wicket entered. We need a new head girl. Any suggestions? He asked as he walked to his chair and sat down. How about Mary Jane? Asked Turbo. You mean the one with all the tattoos? Wicket asked. Yeah. No. She is not a vampire, and she doesn't live in this building, explained Wicket. How about Ashley? John said. She is a vampire and lives in this building. That's true, but she quit stripping to be just a waitress girl, Shane said. Well, there's always Summer. She has been here a long time, Jerry said. True, Wicket said. Okay, Summer. And any other suggestions? I'm just going to throw it out there, Luke said. Devon. Devon? Really? Wicket said. Yes, Devon, Luke said. She has been here before. She knows about us better than probably anybody else, and we all know that you and her are... What? Asked Wicket. Well, look at you. You haven't had a glow like this since last time she was here. He's right, man, John said. Fine. Devon is also in, Wicket said as he stood up. I've got to go clear my head. Jerry, take over and let me know when you've made a decision. I'll go with whoever. He walked over to the door and walked out. In the kitchen, Pixie was sitting at the bar drinking a monster. Hey, boss, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be at a meeting? Wicket gave a slight smile. Yeah, well, I had to get out of there. Seeing the seats where Caramel and Steven used to sit just got to me. I understand, Pixie said as she took a drink. Well, some good news is it is raining outside. How's that good news? Well, isn't there a saying that if it rains on a funeral, it is like God is crying as well? I guess so, Wicket said, as he walked over to the blood refrigerator and grabbed one of the bottles. Also, don't we get busy when it rains? Pixie asked as she walked over to the trash can. Yeah, for some reason. Well, at least I can go up to the roof and clear my head. Okay, boss. I gotta go get ready for work anyway. In a short while, Wicket was sitting on the edge of the roof with his feet dangling. Rain was hitting him, but he wasn't even flinching. He looked down at the city below. Cars were going by and people were running to buildings to get in from the rain. I love it when it rains during the day. The sun is blocked by clouds and people don't pay any attention to anything other than staying dry. After a while, Wicket got to his feet and walked over to where Caramel's body was in the morning. I'm sorry, Caramel. He looked over at the building next to the club. A small office building just a couple of stories taller than the club. He took off running and reached the edge of the building and jumped to the office building. Once he landed on the roof, he stopped running and slowed to a walk. As he walked around the roof, he found empty beer bottles and cigarette butts littering the roof. I wonder if they have office parties up here. If they do, I wonder if they like our rooftop with girls in the pool. He walked closer to the door when it opened and a tall lady in a blue female suit stepped out with an umbrella. Oh, hi, she said as she opened her umbrella. She looked Wicket up and down. Wait, you don't work here, she said as she took out a cigarette and lit it. No, I don't, Wicket said as he watched the lady take a hit off her cigarette. So then what are you doing on the roof of this building? Clearing my head, ma'am. She looked confused. So you just go to a building, climb the stairs to the roof, just to clear your head? Well, to be honest, I didn't climb the stairs here. So then you, what, came from the apartment building over there? She said, pointing. Wicket looked at where at Wicket looked at where she was pointing. No, ma'am, he said as he shook his head. Well, that only leaves the strip club, but surely not. Yes, ma'am. But how? We are 2 stories higher. Well, ma'am, some things are better left to the imagination. Don't call me ma'am, she said. I'm Lindsay. Well, if I'm to leave it to my imagination, then that would make you some kind of a freak. Is that what you want me to think? Better for you to think I'm a freak than for you to know what I really am, Wicket said. And what are you really? Wicket looked at Lindsay and said, a freak. Whatever, she said as she turned and headed back inside. Wicket watched at her as her brown hair spun up and she turned and left. He waited till the door closed and then ran and jumped back to the club's roof. He felt Jerry's presence in his mind. What is it? We've decided on a girl. Wicket started walking towards the door. Okay, I'll be there shortly. It's Devon. Wicket stopped in his tracks. He felt the rain hitting him. Have you told her yet? No. Okay, I'll do it, he said as he cut off the presents and started walking again. He sent his presents to Devon and found her in their room getting ready for work. Hey! Devon stopped getting ready. Hey, what is it? I'm getting ready. Forget about getting ready. Meet me by the meeting room as soon as possible. Okay, I'll be there, she said. Wicket reached the meeting room and stopped waiting for Devon. He turned around and looked into the kitchen. On the bar was a bottle of blood that he opened earlier. He walked over to it and grabbed it. He took a drink and started to walk back when he saw Devon. Good, you're finally here. Yeah, what's up? She asked. Wicket looked at her and took another drink. You have been voted onto the council as the head girl of dancers. What? How? Wicket put up his hands. Since Caramel's dead, we needed a new girl to replace her, and they voted you in. Wait, she interrupted. They voted me in? You didn't vote? He shook his head. No, I didn't. I don't want to know who voted for you and who didn't, so I took a walk. On the roof, I see, she said as she pointed towards his hair. Yeah, well, are you ready to get sworn in? How'd a guy get it sworn in? Of course. Are you ready? Yeah, I guess so, Devon said as she followed him into the room. Wicket led Devon into her chair, and pulled it out for her. Devon looked around, then sat down. Wicket walked over to his chair and sat down. He put his bottle of blood on the table. Jerry stood up. Well, Devon, as I'm sure Wicket has informed you, you're the newest member of our council. Now then, what that means that you will be taking part in important decisions about the club as well as its inhabitants. Are you okay with that? Devon looked at Jerry. Yes, I am. Okay then, Jerry said as he walked over to a shelf. We will all renew our oaths then. He walked back to the table with a bowl and a knife. He placed the blade in his palm and closed his hand around the blade. He quickly pulled the blade out and opened his hand over the bowl. Blood spilt out into the bowl. After a short while, he moved his hand up to his mouth and licked it. He then passed the bowl over to Shane, who did the same thing. The bowl and knife eventually made it around to Devon. She took the knife in her hand and quickly pulled it out. She winced slightly from the pain, but didn't stop what she was doing. She looked up at Wicket while she had her hand over the bowl. He watched for a little while, then gave a nod. She closed her hand and passed the bowl and knife on. After everybody had poured blood out, Jerry took the bowl from Wicket and walked back to the shelf. When he returned, he had a tray full of glasses that were full of fresh blood from the bowl. Everybody took a glass. Okay, with this unity of blood, we now declare Devon a part of the Council of Scream, Jerry said. He lifted his glass and took a drink as everybody else followed. Now then, Devon, since you drank, we can tell when you were lying just like you can tell if we are. Congratulations, he said as he clapped. Now then, down to business, he said as everybody sat back down. Tim called and gave us the location of Craig's mansion. Wicket sat up. Really? When did he do that? Jerry looked back at him. When you were out playing in the rain, he passed the slip of paper to Wicket. Wicket opened the slip and read the address. This is way out of town in that housing complex. Yes, Jerry said. Now then, I'm opening the floor to suggestions on what to do. I say we just torch the place, John said. Yeah, good idea, Luke said sarcastically. Are we going to stand close by to make sure they stay in and get burned while the fire department and cops show up? Besides, have you smelt burned werewolf? Shane said. It doesn't smell too invigorating. What we need is an overlook to watch both doors as 2 small teams break in, Wicket said. Yes, that sounds good, Jerry said. Who goes with what team? John should be the overlook, Shane said. What? That's bullshit, John yelled. Why should I not go in? Because you're the best shot with a sniper, Shane explained. He's got you there, John, Turbo said. Shut up, Turbo, John said as he punched him in the arm. Don't worry, John. Turbo will be with you, Wicket said. I want to go in the front door, Luke said. I wouldn't want it any other way, Wicket said. You will be on Jerry's team. So then I guess I will be with Wicket then, Shane said. I'll stay behind to make sure everything is good here, Hillary said. Devins finally spoke up. So then what am I doing? Jerry looked over at her. Well, you will stay here with Hillary. Why? Would you rather go out and fight? Yeah, why not? Fine, you will be on Wicket's team. Wicket grabbed the mallet. Okay, anything else we need to discuss? He looked around the room before he struck. Everybody got up and headed to the door, except for Devin and Wicket. He waited till everybody was out of the room. So did you like your first meeting? I guess, but I got to ask you something, Devin said as she walked over to him. I need a refresher course in fighting. That's it for chapter 12. The next one will be chapter 13, Fun and Fight. Oh, geez, I don't remember what the 11 there. Anyway, hope you're enjoying this. That's all I got for today. Thanks, guys.